Welcome to another episode of Breaking Mayberry, the show that answers the question, was Granddad always this way? Or was that a recent development? I'm one of your hosts, I'm Marty Schneider.
I'm that other host, Dan Ledwig.
So, sorry that we've been away for a bit. I was off traveling the world, and Dan was supposed to come up with a replacement, and didn't.
We had a really good, substitute teacher episode planned for you guys with me and my little brother who does the music for the episode, and, it went about as well as you could anticipate any show that involved two of me, so that might get made someday before the heat death of the universe, but yeah, in the meantime, welcome back, Marty!
Yeah, no, I'm back from godless socialist Europe, where I had a great time. I went to a Me First Again, the Gimme Gimmes concert in Amsterdam.
How did that go?
It was great, until a stage diver jumped off and their head collided with mine, which, it's super cool to, walk away with, injuries from a punk show, but not when it's a Me First and the Gimme Gimmes show, which, if you don't know who they are, Me First and the Gimme Gimmes they're a gimmick band. It's like people who are in punk bands, when they're not working on stuff, they get together in this band and they do punk covers of pop and show tunes and stuff. So
who stage dives at that?
I spent my 4th of July with 300 aging Dutch punks. So they're all everyone's 45 years old. There's so many fucking paperboy ball caps.
Oh God!
And we're all just drunkenly moaning the chorus to Uptown Girl. And so, yeah, people did dive at that. Old men who cannot, walk were trying to mosh.
Oh.
I was one of them. I'm at that stage in my aging punk career.
I mean, if you're too old to mosh at a punk show, that's why we invented ska.
Right.
That is...
You can skank. You can always skank.
Yeah, but ska is basically, punk Valhalla, or more a punk retirement home. Hey, come on, go dance in a ska circle. It's like a mosh pit.
I mean, you want to talk about punk retirement homes. C.J. Ramone was on stage, ladies and gentlemen. Instead of Fat Mike, who wasn't able to make that one, their bass player was C.J. Ramone. So, a tier 3 Ramone.
Yeah.
So I got knocked to the ground and was bleeding for a little bit and had to wander around a foreign country going, do I have a concussion or am I just drunk?
That's always a good question to have to ask while in a foreign country.
I don't think that spending 20 euros worth of Burger King is a concussion symptom. So I'm pretty sure I was just drunk. But we were thinking that's the dumbest way for me to die.
That would be at your funeral, I would just be rest in peace, Marty. We all should have seen this coming.
Rest in peace, Marty. He died from injuries sustained, ironically, during a cover of I Will Survive.
Rest in peace, Marty. A man who died in the most avoidable circumstances imaginable.
Rest in peace, Marty. Yeah, this makes sense.
Yeah. Just the tomb, just the priest just going from what I've never had the pleasure of meeting Martin, but from what all of you have had the kindness to tell me about, this tracks. This definitely tracks.
I get it.
Just get the dirt on him. Let's get the fuck out of here.
So let's get into today's episodes. We're trying to do a doubleheader because one of them we're just gonna just blow right through because it's bullshit. It sucks. But the other one I kind of enjoy. It's not super funny, but it is interesting. There's some good stuff to talk about.
The other one trucks. It moves. It shit's constantly happening. I don't think at any point it's particularly good, but it certainly was hard to do show notes for because there were 10,000 things happening per scene.
Yeah, let's get into it. So we're talking about, by the way, we're skipping the county nurse for right now. We're going to come back to it with a special guest. So that'll probably be after our live show, which is this Saturday. I'm not going to promote the live show because by the time this airs, it'll already be done.
Yeah. You should have gone to it if you live in Philadelphia. If you didn't, you let us down.
So we're talking about Season 2, Episode 25, Andy and Barney in the Big City. Originally airs March 26, 1962, written by Harvey Bullock, who likes to do the crime ones.
He's a crime guy, which makes sense because he has been serving on the Gotham PD dutifully under Gordon for a very long time.
We've made that joke a bunch of times.
I'll never stop.
Do you think that the Batman character Harvey Bullock is named after this guy? Like, do you think there's a connection there? There's
gotta be, no, Bullock would have probably come into existence in, the 30s or whatever the fuck they started doing Batman?
Did he? I thought that he was, a Batman the Animated Series guy. I thought he was, Harley Quinn.
Maybe we should, check if Bullock did anything more famous than this. If he was actually, a crime novelist or some shit.
Possibly.
Yeah.
Possibly. Anyway, so this episode is written by Harvey Bullock and directed by For Sale Running Shoes Never Worn, Bob Sweeney.
Fuck you, that's good. A Los Feliz music video producer who knows the name is ridiculous but is just kind of leaning into it, Bob Sweeney.
And the one-sentence summary from Wikipedia says, Andy and Barney get involved in the pursuit of a jewel thief while on a business trip to Raleigh. Talkative Barney foolishly lets the thief know they will be staking out his next target. Also, it then has a note here that says, Art Johnson has a small role as the hotel clerk. And there's a link as if I'm supposed to know who the fuck Art Johnson is.
Art Johnson?
Arthur Staunton Eric Johnson was an American comic actor who was a regular on television's Rowan and Martin's Laugh-In. He played characters including a German soldier with the catchphrase, very interesting.
So that's where that comes from?
I guess.
That's...
Also, Art Johnson died 2 weeks ago.
Oh!
July 3rd, 2019. Rest in peace, Art Johnson.
I guess, right? Yeah, sorry, man.
We dedicate this episode to you, I guess.
In the arms of the angel. Good luck out there, man.
Yeah.
Best of luck to Art Johnson.
In the afterlife.
In death. In crossing the river Styx. Go get it, man.
So... this episode opens with, they're at Andy's house, and Opie is helping Andy pack his suitcase, and they're getting ready for Andy to go. And because Andy's going to Raleigh to go talk to the police commissioner there, I guess about getting some new equipment or something.
Yeah, they're asking for a budgetary increase. And it's kind of just one quick thing that's weird. Andy's in a full suit, about to go on the bus. What? In my wildest dreams, I can't imagine going any long, but being on, if I was on a megabus or a Greyhound in a full suit, I'd want to die within the first 20 minutes.
Yeah, I mean, he goes, I guess it's just like how you used to get dressed up to go on airplanes or whatnot.
Also sounds horrible.
Well, airplanes were cooler then.
Yeah.
But yeah, so he's fully ready, and it looks like a wool suit too.
Yeah.
And they're in North Carolina. It's hot as hell. So he's about to get on the bus, but they go to the hotel first. He could change into his suit there. Yeah. Whatever.
It's a bus. You're not trying to impress him. I'm just trying to imagine how how sticky I normally get when I take a bus with a bunch of other people, and just how exponentially more sticky I would be by the end if I was in a suit.
Add a men's 1960s wool suit, which is like an inch and a half thick.
The inside of that thing is going to be a fucking biome by the time he gets off the bus. He's going to have new life forms growing in it.
What's this note you have? A relish in the suitcase?
Oh, yeah, so he's just like, oh man, my suitcase sure is heavy. And Ampy's like, I put a jar of relish in there. You'll need it. Food in the city is shit. And he's just like, all right, cool. And then Barney rolls in, and Andy just mentions oh yeah, I got a bottle in the suitcase. And Barney's like, yeah, you do. All right, we're gonna party out there, thinking it's booze. And he's like, nah, man, it's relish. Actually, a solid little bit.
It's a pretty solid bit. Also, fuck you, Barney. That's a good. You arrest other people for that shit.
Oh yeah, what the fuck? I didn't realize that.
Yeah. Barney's excited that he and well, you know what? Maybe Mayberry's a dry county, but maybe Raleigh isn't.
I think it's only Mayberry that's a dry county.
So sure. So technically Andy's smuggling, but I think Barney's willing to look the other way on that.
Yeah.
So they're gonna bring the booze over there and party. So
you know that Barney and Andy drink in their free time.
Oh, absolutely.
100%.
There's a little bit where Ron Howard has lost a tooth. Little Ronnie's lost a tooth.
They get some mileage out of that.
They drag that for all it's worth.
Yeah, I think
may have been the first time a child has lost a tooth on television ever.
Every time Ron Howard grows at all, they're going to get a 5-minute bit out of it. Oh, little Ronnie Howard, you grew 3 inches. Every single time.
We're gonna get 15 minutes dedicated to his first pube.
Oh my god. Yeah. Oh, Ronnie, your voice is changing. Oh my god. Yeah. So, there's a thing, Aunt B always makes Andy take a sack of sandwiches whenever he goes somewhere.
Yeah, he does a bit, she runs into the kitchen oh, I almost forgot something. And Andy's it's a sack of sandwiches. I've never gone anywhere without her bringing me a brown paper sack full of sandwiches.
Yeah.
She comes down, here are some sandwiches in case you're hungry.
I like that she's not even here are some sandwiches. She's here's a sack of sandwiches. She says it verbatim.
Yeah.
And such shitty writing, but it's really funny.
It is really funny, the repetition there.
Yeah.
Also, an entire, sack of sandwiches. I don't know how long a bus ride takes, but it can't be more than 2 or 3 hours from Raleigh to Mayberry.
Yeah, although, they're going to be bored as shit on this bus. So,
that's true.
You might just eat sandwiches to, pass the time. So, Ampy does a whole thing about how they need to step out with their right foot so everything will go well.
That's a superstition I've never heard of, but...
I guess it's fine superstition as far as ones on this show have gone. It makes some semblance of sense, or isn't inconvenient.
Oh, you know what? I have heard the phrase "start off on the right foot."
Oh,
so that's probably it being incredibly literal.
This is
now that I think about it,
maybe the most I've ever learned from this episode of television, or from this TV show. Oh my god, it's so goddamn hot. Words are so hard. All right. So the next shot is the big city.
And it looks like newsreel footage, right?
I know.
It's the charming town of Raleigh, North Carolina.
I expected the next shot to just be that scene of Andy and Barney throwing their arms up and one of them throws their hat into the air.
Neon signs float above them, semi-transparent,
yeah,
girls.
Yeah, no, but instead it's just hard cuts to basically the only setting there will be in this entire show, the inside of a hotel.
Yeah, they check into a fancy hotel in Raleigh. And I gotta be honest, no offense to the citizens of Raleigh, North Carolina, but you're not a major city.
No, you're dog shit, Raleigh, all right?
Oh, okay.
Thinking you're hot shit, thinking that you're a real city, you're nothing, okay? You're basically Minneapolis. You're barely better than Phoenix.
Dude, a lot of things are better than Phoenix. You take that back.
Okay, yeah.
Phoenix sucks. Offense to the citizens of Phoenix, Arizona.
I'm sorry, Raleigh. It's really goddamn hot today. I'm just...
Alright, so they go into a hotel, and they book a room. There's a bit here that actually does make me laugh, where the concierge takes their information down, and he says, okay, we'll have those rooms ready for you, Mr. Taylor and Mr. Fife. Oh, I'm sorry, Dr. Fife.
And Andy just what the fuck? And it's Barney Fife, MD. And Barney's yeah, I just, I signed my name that way. Barney Fife, Mayberry deputy. Which is a great bit. Probably the most layup illegal thing. We've talked about, it's not the most illegal thing. This is a layup misdemeanor. This is 100%. If this landed on a prosecuting attorney's lap, he would be oh, hell yeah, someone's win record is about to get better for no work whatsoever.
But yeah, that's pretty, that Barney Fife MD bit is pretty funny.
Yeah. So they're getting the room, and as they're doing so, an old lady approaches the desk, and the guy goes over to help her, and as that's happening, Barney's just Man, this city, you wouldn't have to look too far to find some felonies. Not unlike the one that I just did 2 seconds ago.
I'm going to give Barney Fife a little bit of credit here, because he actually does do some very alert police work. He notices something suspicious. He just directs his attention at the wrong target. But he does, look and he go, man, that woman is flashing a whole shitload of jewelry. That's going to attract a lot of attention.
Yeah.
And then he sees another man eyeing her and following her with those jewels. He has every right to be suspicious.
Yeah.
The concierge even asked this woman, hey, do you want to put this in a safe or something? Do you want us to hold on to it back here? And she's like, what's the point of having jewelry if you don't show it off, darling? Ha 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 ha.
Yeah.
Real Ava Gabor kind of shit.
The big thing is, is this old lady going to get her jewelry stolen? And I think the resounding answer should be, she doesn't give a shit.
Right.
She's so rich that this would probably be she would be like the lady in To Catch a Thief, where she's like, fuck it. I have so much money, this was nothing to me.
Yeah.
Steal it again. Come on.
So Barney notices all this happening. He notices the woman and her jewels, and he notices a man behind her, eyeing the jewels and watching her. And when she leaves, he leaves after her. And Barney's like, check that out. Look at that, Andy. Look at that shit over there. And Andy says, stop seeing criminals everywhere you look.
Barney says the guy's stalking his prey and that they're in an asphalt jungle. So he is he's done good police work so far. He is fully disassociating right now. He is as with this scene happens, becoming detethered from reality.
It's Barney, so he's getting super excited, here's a case to bust. Or
yeah.
Whatever,
Gumption. Tenacity.
And Andy says, stop looking for crimes, stop seeing criminals everywhere, which is a weird take for the sheriff of a city to have, but not one I disapprove of.
I'm going to say that on the bus ride up here, Barney identified 3 serial killers.
That's fair.
Yeah. 100% this is just his life, where Barney's just I think that might be Al Capone.
That's true. We've seen Barney do that numerous times.
Yeah, it's got to get so fucking old.
By the way, the ultra-reliable Mayberry Wiki pointed out the same thing that I did, which is Andy and Barney are out of town on business for 2 days. There's no mention at any point during the episode of who will be acting sheriff or deputy in their absence. Mayberry just doesn't need a police department.
No. That should honestly be the commissioner's line of question in the next scene of just so you guys want more money to do your jobs, but you're both here, and I'm assuming everything is fine in the town, leading me to think that maybe we should give you less money, if anything, because it seems that your work is in no way hard.
Yeah. So, yeah, that is the next scene. They're in the commissioner's office, and the commissioner is just listen, I'll try to talk to the council about your budget, but you don't have anything going on, so I don't know if we can get you new equipment.
And Andy's so we're too good at our jobs is what you're saying.
I mean, which is a fair argument, right? And Andy's argument is that you don't need to be arresting people to necessarily be a good law enforcement officer. In fact, and we've heard Andy say this a couple of times, having the jails empty is a sign that he's doing his job better.
Yeah.
So that's Andy's whole perspective on it. But they want real big arrests, flashy arrests, the kind that make the papers.
Yeah.
The commissioner leaves, blows them off, is basically fuck off, I'm not helping you bumpkins.
He's nice about it. He's hey guys, I'm gonna do my best, but I gotta go into this other meeting. He's not get the fuck out of my office. He's
no, but he does it's a very polite brush off.
Yeah.
It's very clearly a brush off.
Yeah.
And Barney says, we need one good felony.
Yeah.
We need to get one big arrest. I bet we can find one here in the city, because no one's explained to Barney Fife the concept of jurisdiction.
Yeah. What is the plan that he's gonna go out and catch a murderer and then just drive him back to Mayberry and then be
for prosecution? Yeah, you can't extradite to Mayberry.
Just put him on the bus, take him back to Mayberry, and then suddenly put the handcuffs on him and be you're arrested.
Also, why did they take a bus? They have a car.
They have many cars. The internal logic of this episode is not great.
Yeah.
It's not super good. Yeah, Barney is now on the hunt for one good felony. And Andy's like, you know what? We'll feel better after we get some supper, which kicks off the best scene in the episode. Hands fucking down.
I agree.
Yeah.
So they're at a nice restaurant, and the menu is in French. And Barney and Andy are both very like dumbfounded. They didn't really know what they're looking at.
Both doing great acting of just like it's just like 5 seconds of silence with them both just staring at the menu, just like puzzling at it.
There's something I wanted to point out about this episode, and I wasn't going to wait for a little bit, but this is a good time to say it. So when we watched A Face in the Crowd, do you remember we watched A Face in the Crowd, and we kind of said, dang, Andy Griffith, if he had gone a different route, could have absolutely been like a Rat Pack guy. He could have absolutely hung out with Dean Martin and Frank Sinatra and whatnot. And that's what this entire episode kind of feels like. It really feels like Andy and Barney are trying, or Andy and Don Knotts are trying to do like a almost like a pilot, like a tryout for like a Dean Martin and Jerry Lewis kind of thing.
A little bit.
This really feels like this could, if you had like tampered this out a little bit, this episode could have been like an hour-and-a-half movie where like there's like that's what it is. It's a caper. It's like a silly caper, the kind of movie that Dean Martin made, that Bob Hope was making in the 60s. It really feels like they're trying to set up that dynamic of like the cool swinging guy and his silly like partner, and they have capers. It feels like they used this as like an audition to get something like that kind of made.
Honestly, it feels like, imagine if they did like, instead of them being like small town sheriffs, they were like private detectives, and this was just Raleigh was the setting, and it was just like, if it wasn't like, if that was the situation and they were like down on their luck or something, this dynamic would be so much more endearing.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. By the way, I would watch the shit out of Barney Fife PI.
Oh my god, they should have done that as the spin-off.
That would have been a much better spin-off.
Yeah.
But yeah, so for that reason, this feels very different than most Andy Griffith episodes that we've seen. Not better or worse, but different.
But Bullock has consistently brought the heat as a writer. Like, I think he's been the best of season 2.
Oh, don't say that, because the next episode is also a Bullock.
Oh, god damn it.
Yeah.
Fuck.
So the scene in the restaurant is Barney is too ashamed. He doesn't want them to know that he's not cultured enough to know what's on the menu, which is reminiscent of what we saw before in the Clubmen episode.
Yeah.
Where Barney didn't want anyone to know that he doesn't know anything about club, which was also in Raleigh, right?
Yeah.
They drove to Raleigh then to go to this
Raleigh
fancy club.
is just the location of Barney Fife's deepest shames.
Yeah. Well, it's because he wants to be a big city guy and he doesn't know how.
There are no limits to the things that Barney wants to be but doesn't know how to be.
Fair point.
That is all of human society. He poses as a doctor, for fuck's sake. He's never talked about being a doctor once.
Because that's what he wants. He wants some high society respect. He thinks that he's he even says it. He thinks, I'm a real big city guy.
Yeah. I'm a predator in the concrete jungle.
But not enough to, actually go to the city or ever live. And that's kind of endearing. I feel like we all know that guy. We all know a guy who thinks that he could be real, hot shit, but has not left his hometown.
Yeah. So to finish up the
bit, yeah. Please tell us a bit.
Yeah. So they're talking about how they cannot read the French menu, and Barney is like, "Listen, you're going to embarrass us. Just point at something. It'll be good. This is a nice restaurant." And Andy's like, I don't know, that's too much of a gamble for me. I just want the food that I want. And Barney's like, I swear to God, don't you do it. Don't you fucking embarrass me in this restaurant. Andy just says hey, I just want steak and green beans and a baked potato. And the guy's like, yeah, sure. And Barney just points at things. He points at the escargot, and he points at another thing that the guy says super fast, and I couldn't catch it and type it out, and I tried 3 fucking times. Something French and long. The waiter was like, okay, great. So he will get the steak, the baked potato, and the green beans, and Barney will get snails and brains. And then just walks away. Just good. Just a
good bit. It's a solid bit.
Then Barney spots the old lady again while he's glowering, and he also sees the man from before who's following her, which we should point out, is the gangster from
Jailbreak.
From Jailbreak.
Yeah. We've already seen this guy before.
Yeah.
Same dude.
Same actor, not same character.
According to the ultra reliable Mayberry Wiki, we're gonna see him a few more times in small roles.
He's a good fucking character actor.
Yeah, he's solid.
Yeah, he really uses the fact that he looks like a dirtbag really well.
Yeah.
Barney refers to them as the Emerald Lady and the Crook, which is my favorite turn-of-the-century fantasy novel.
Barney could really make a living just, like, selling detective novels if he wanted to.
Yeah, really could.
He's got such a great imagination for it.
Yeah. He's always fictionalizing everything around it. But yeah, Emerald Lady and the Crook, kick-ass name for a thing. Even like a band. So they cut to the crook.
The guy we think is a crook. And he's on the phone and he's talking about how much the necklace is worth. And
yeah.
Boy, eyes like that would be worth a bundle. Hard cut back to Barney, who's saying, I would bet my life that guy is a crook.
Hard cut back. I miss being a cop. I guess it's okay being a hotel detective. Good bit. Also, guys, hotel detectives are a thing.
What's a hotel detective? I assume that, like, fancy hotels probably have some sort of security force on there.
That's a security guard, though. Like, why do you need a hotel detective? Also, how has this not been a show on USA yet?
Hotel detective. I think that the fact that there's enough crime at your hotel to warrant its own detective is a deterrent in and of itself. I would not want to stay at a hotel that has a detective in its employ.
I mean, they're not advertising it. They're not like, welcome to the Sheraton. Over there is Phil, our hotel detective. And Phil's like, just like waving. They're like, oh, and at this hotel, we have a scary looking man skulking in the shadows. And everyone's like, cool. They're not advertising it, but also like,
that makes it worse.
Yeah. So he just follows around people that he thinks might be robbed, which is basically results in this situation where it just looks like they're about to be robbed.
I'm going to say it. Barney Fife was 100% right on this one.
Why?
Like, Barney Fife had every reason to believe what he believed.
I really want just to read a book about a hotel detective. Could call it Checked Out.
Nice. Like, he shoots a guy and he's just like, checkout's 11:30.
What? Shit.
Hang on, let's pause. Let's think about this. Sam Sheraton, hotel detective. Right?
Shoots a guy in the neck. Have you enjoyed your stay, sir? Something like that.
Book 5, room service.
There aren't very many good puns about hotels.
I'm sorry, everyone. I figured this bit was gonna go further.
The rule is always that the bellboy did it. This feels like it should have such legs.
There should be meat on these bones.
God damn it.
Shit. Apologize.
I'm not a great punsman, but fuck. This has been a frustrating experience. It's so goddamn hot.
Back to the hotel.
So the elevator opens. Andy walks out. He's in the hallway. He does some hallway bullshit. He like puts some stuff in some stuff. I don't know. Old timey stuff. Barney is like standing there with a newspaper, and Andy goes up to him and be like, "Hey, you want to buy a hot necklace?" Barney yells at him, and it's just like, so I've been watching the guy. I've been watching the hotel detective. He's been sitting there. He's eaten 8 mints so far. And Andy's like, all right, well, I'm going to go. You keep track of how many mints he eats. And it's like, again, Andy is right to mock him, but also, is this guy just hanging out eating mints?
Yeah, it's kind of weird.
Yeah, again, I feel like they're wasting money on this hotel detective.
Everything about this situation is weird.
Yeah.
They're in the lobby, right? They're in the lobby area, and it's just a guy sitting, just waiting for several hours. As Andy leaves, he bumps into a guy, says, I'm sorry, and then that guy walks over to the guy we know as the hotel detective.
The hotel detective.
Whose name is Detective Bardoli.
Are we going to call him Detective Bartoli, or are we just going to call him the hotel detective?
I feel like just calling him the hotel detective.
The hotel detective is just... He's the hotel detective.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Sheraton Hilton. Embassy Suite.
Oh, wait, no, there's something there. Oh, the name's Best Western, Hotel Detective.
Nice.
There we go.
There we go.
Oh, God.
The hotel detective recognizes him as CJ. Did CJ have a last name?
Wait, shut up. Shut the fuck up. The Adventures of Best Western in The Force Seasons. There we go.
Nice.
Whew, it took a little while. Okay, what were we saying? CJ.
All right, so CJ, does CJ have a last name? CJ Hassler, played by an actor named Les Tremaine.
CJ is not the name of a criminal. It is the name of a precocious little scamp.
CJ's the name of, like, a cool mom, right?
That is...
Don't call me Mrs. Hassler. You can just call me CJ, honey.
Damn it, CJ, you've stolen wallets all over the East Coast, and also you got me kicked out of the family carpool. I won't forget what you did at the PTA meeting, CJ, you son of a bitch.
CJ Hassler is a woman who's not allowed back at, like, half-price margarita nights at Applebee's.
CJ has started shit in every single book group in town. Yeah, so, CJ rolls up, and, the hotel detective is just like, fuck you, CJ. Back when I was a cop, you did a bunch of crimes, and I arrested you, and the charges didn't stick. And CJ's like, yeah, they didn't, asshole.
It's very weird that we're going over this.
Yeah.
That's a weird amount of exposition. I know all of this information.
Why are we only sharing our shared backstory very explicitly?
Like, why are we doing this right now?
Also, in case you were wondering as the audience, yes, I am another Vincent Price-esque villain.
Oh, coded gay. I'm a coded gay villain.
I have a thin mustache and talk in a peculiar way. Oh, look at my fingers there, lacing together as I think.
Oh, all these eccentricities and peculiarities about myself, I'm basically Snagglepuss.
Oh,
the exit stayed right even.
Your Snaggle, you did like a Snagglepuss mixed with your Vincent Price, and the result was a vampire clown?
Vampire clown is how this guy's playing.
Yeah. Okay.
He's got a vague British accent too, so like
they all have like the accent your aunt did. The Madonna British accents. They all have Madonna British accents.
It makes no sense because this dude is British.
Yeah.
He's British doing a fake British accent.
Wait, the actor is British?
Yeah.
He came in and he did his real British accent, and they were like, we need you to tone that down because this is going to be airing in the South, and they're really not going to be down with that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So here's his character. He's a giant, weird, flouncy stereotype.
It is a little... So the hotel detective is a very sad character because when CJ rolls in, the hotel detective isn't like, you get out of here, I'm going to kick your ass. He's like, hey, CJ, I don't want any trouble. Like,
yeah, right? Yeah, he's not a tough guy. He's just like, please don't.
Yeah, it's like, I don't really have any authority to do anything to you because I'm a hotel detective and was probably kicked off the force for sad reasons. Please don't do any crime. I can't really stop you.
You know that CJ's just like, oh, these robes are so plush. What would happen if one slipped into my suitcase? What will you do about that, Best Western?
Best Western's just like, I'm gonna tell my manager, who will call the police, and then I'm gonna hide when the police get here. That's what I'm gonna do, CJ.
It's like when you work security at, like, a department store, and, like, all you can really do is follow someone around and hope that they leave. But, like, literally, if you are being, tailed by security or whatever at Walmart, you can just walk out holding video games. They're not allowed to really touch you.
Yeah.
Or even really confront you all that much because they're just a Walmart security person.
The best Griffin McElroy joke is when he says, like, I'm just gonna take this. You're not my dad. You can't stop me. Yeah. Bye.
I'm just busting in.
Hotel detective is a very sad man, probably drinks a lot and cries. So CJ walks away. Barney immediately just walks up to him and is like, hey, what's going on? And dude's like, hi? And Barney is just like, just a quick heads up, that guy's a criminal. Which, why would you tell that?
Yeah, this this seems a little, like, outrageous even for Barney.
Yeah.
Like, I feel like even Barney, because Barney's naturally suspicious of everyone, but this guy, he's just like, hey, watch out.
It's along the lines of, like, I need attention. Andy's not validating my stakeout, so I need to just get, like, some random Yahoo. But this guy totally could have been, like, the criminal's co-conspirator, because he just talked to him for, like, 4 minutes.
And Barney would have thought that.
Yeah.
Barney would have absolutely been like, oh, they're working together. They're in cahoots.
Yeah, Bullock is making some leaps.
Yeah. So Barney is chatting him up, basically, and he just straight up says, that guy's a criminal.
He's following a woman around who has emeralds the size of jawbreakers.
He just straight up gives it away. He's like, hey, there's somebody around who's got a shitload of jewels, and he shows CJ his badge. CJ's like, ooh, okay. Well, I can help you. I'm a reporter.
Yeah. I own this newspaper that I'm holding. And Barney's like, cool. No follow-up questions.
Because Barney's whole goal is to get in the paper. He wants to make an arrest that gets in the paper, so he thinks that if he can work with a reporter on this, he'll automatically get in there.
Yeah.
That's some continuity, sure. So then they run up the stairs together because they see Best Western Hotel Detective get into an elevator.
Yeah.
So they run up the stairs. Then we go back to...
They scamper off like tykes. Like, they just like, come on, let's go! And then just like run up the stairs together. It's kind of adorable.
The next couple of scenes happen really in succession with each other. This is kind of a cool bit.
I love... Hard cut to the crime lab, where Andy is saying, so this is the crime lab! It's pretty great shitty writing.
You know, I'm not even going to say it's that shitty because, like, at that time, I'm sure you didn't see that many crime labs on television, right? Like, now, if I see a crime lab on TV, I know essentially what a crime lab looks like, or at least a television crime lab looks like.
Yeah.
And I can identify it immediately. But for that one, like, at that time, I feel like Andy would have had to have been like, yes, this is the room where we're in, because you at home don't know that.
Yeah, but there's not, like, any lead-up or anything. Like,
right.
It's just literally the first second. It's, like, just, like, the scene changes. Crime lab! This is a crime lab! Okay, so, oh, who are you? I'm Officer Friendly. Hi, Officer Friendly.
By the way, that's actually his name, Officer Friendly. No follow-up on that.
No, yeah, they were just, like... That was one of the things where they just wrote in as a placeholder, and then were, like, they finished filming and like, do you guys mean to leave in Officer Friendly? Yeah? No? I guess it's in the can.
Tom reading for the role of Officer Friendly, I guess. Weird audition tape.
Yeah.
So
God, TV used to be so easy.
They go into, like, a room of files. Cut back to the hallway where Barney and CJ are watching the hotel detective, and he's, like, checking all the doors. And back to the record room, where they're just going through, like, records. They're basically just like, hello, Andy, would you like to see all of these records? Isn't that interesting? We have so many records. Here are pictures of people that we have. They're just giving such weird exposition. And also, why is Andy touring the crime lab anyway? Was he invited to do that?
He just was just like, I need to get away from my dipshit detective. But yeah, they do it for 2 separate rooms where they're like yelling, this is the crime lab! Do you want to go to the record room? They cut back like, this is the record room in case you forgot in the middle scene.
And then they open up a big book of records and just randomly, it just happens to open to CJ's record, which feels like it shouldn't be there, right? Because he got acquitted. Whatever.
Yeah.
The rest is still on there. And Andy's like,
I feel like you couldn't get a record expunged back then.
Sure. So Andy's like, I recognize that guy from somewhere. I don't know where. Back to the hotel. So now the audience is clued in. Right?
Yeah.
So now the audience has all of the information.
But we had that information before.
Sure.
Yeah.
So, but now the new bit is that Andy knows.
Yeah, that's true.
Or at least Andy thinks he knows. Back to the hotel. They missed
Best Western Hotel Detective.
And then they notice that the room is locked. CJ says, I've heard that you can open up one of these doors if you have... Is it a bobby pin?
It is I think it was a nail file.
Nail file.
Yeah.
Nail file. And Barney's like, oh, well, I've got one of those. And then CJ picks the lock to the room, which, by the way, we got to point out, just like the ultra-reliable Mayberry Wiki pointed out, is room 420.
Holy shit.
It is the weed number.
Yeah, it is. Should we, like, stop and, like, smoke weed? I don't know what the etiquette is for this.
No, it's just we just have to reference that it is.
Can you just like cut in some sounds of bong rips here? Like I feel like
that would be tacky. That's below us.
Is it? Is anything below us? We're animals.
So they search the room, and CJ finds the jewels. Of course, he's in a different. Barney's in like the living room of the hotel suite. And
yeah.
CJ finds
the hotel
jewels.
living room, right?
Hotel suites have living rooms.
Yeah.
And CJ goes into the bedroom and he finds the jewel box and
Yeah, so it cuts down to the hotel lobby where Andy's just like walking with another cop, like, come on down to Mayberry, we'll shoot some quail. And the guy's like, all right, cool. And then Andy's like, is there a hotel detective here? And the cop is like, yeah. And then cut back up to the hotel room.
Wait a minute. Actually, now that I noticed it, I didn't notice it while we were watching the episode, but looking at it down on paper, how the fuck did Andy get back to the hotel so fast?
Maybe?
Is the police department across the street?
That would make sense why they picked this hotel.
I guess.
Yeah, the fanciest hotel in town is, like, next door to the crime lab / record room. Yeah. Maybe not the full police station, but at least those 2 rooms.
Because he's in those 2 rooms, and then when Barney and CJ are at the bottom of the stairs, and then they get to the top of the stairs, and now Andy's back in the hotel?
Yeah.
Like 5 minutes must have passed at the very most. Whatever. So back at the room.
It's fine.
CJ has stolen the jewels. Barney comes in and he spots that the jewel box is empty. And he goes, oh no, that guy stole those jewels. And CJ's like, yes, that guy did. Ho-ho.
Super totally.
Barney and CJ are about to leave, but then they see the main door opening and enter Howard Johnson. Detective Howard Johnson.
Hotel detective
Howard Johnson. To be clear, we're talking about the same guy. And then they hide. They start to they hide behind the door, and then they sneak out because Barney pushes Best Western. Let's stick with that one. Detective Best Western.
They don't sneak out, so they hide behind a door, mime to each other incomprehensibly, somehow communicate that when Best Western comes in, Barney is just going to push him into a closet.
Which he does. He pushes him into the closet, slams the door, blocks the closet off, and then they run out.
CJ starts trying to shake Barney and says, like, okay, so I'm going to run to my newspaper, and I'm going to get this printed right now, and then you're going to be a hero, and it's going to be great. And Barney's like, why don't we just call on a phone at the hotel? And he's like, the hotel detective will have it bugged, and he'll steal all the credit. And Barney's like, well, we'll call from a payphone. And CJ's starting to get frustrated, and he could honestly just throat punch Barney and run away. Like, he does not need to put nearly this much effort into shaking this very weak man. So, but CJ can't shake him. Barney's being annoying. They go down to the lobby, where Andy immediately intercepts them.
Barney explains what's going on, and then Andy figures out who CJ is, and he finds the jewels on CJ's person.
And then just kind of explains it. Barney is completely dumbfounded. Andy arrests the guy and says, like, you did it, man. You got him. You got your felony. And Barney is just like, in a rare, I think our second rare moment of clarity is like, I'm so fucking stupid.
I botched this. Holy shit.
Dumb as hell, Andy. I'm dumb as shit. And Andy's like, yeah, but it's cool. And then Barney's like, who did I just lock in a closet? And Andy, like, kind of takes his time. He's like, so that's the thing. And then they start getting to an elevator, and you can't hear Andy tell him, and Barney's just like, oh my god!
Yeah. It's a good gag. It's a good bit.
Yeah.
The stinger is that they've talked to the commissioner, and they're going to get the budget increase. So we're back at Barney and Andy's hotel room. Hotel detective, Best Western, comes in, and Barney hides in he runs away.
And then, what was the one you did?
Howard Johnson.
And then Howard Johnson says that there's no hard feelings. He's just happy that CJ is in prison. He'll never ruin another Wine of the Month club ever again. As soon as he hears that there's no hard feelings, Barney comes out and says hi. Like, I've been looking all over for you. And then Andy calls Barney a coward, and Barney scowls. Do our ratings.
Okay, ratings for the previous episode. Andy meter. How good is this episode? This episode's kind of good.
This episode is a solid 7 in my book.
It's a 7.
Yeah.
It's a solid 7. It's enjoyable.
A lot of logical inconsistencies, but not the directing's
It's
tight.
a fun little caper, and it does what it's supposed to do.
Sweeney's working. Sweeney's putting some sweat on this episode.
Yeah.
He keeps it going at a nice brisk pace. Shit's constantly happening.
And as far as FIFO goes, like, I'm going to say mild, like...
I will say, so this was entrapment. Barney did entice a criminal. It was light entrapment, but he did entice a criminal to break into a hotel room with him. So, this was a felony. And this is kind of the episode where Barney Fife learns how to do entrapment, and he's going to keep doing it over the course of season 2. So, there is a misdemeanor and a felony in this episode.
Yeah, alright, so...
I'm going to say another 7. It's a 7-7.
It's not that bad to me. I'm going to say like a 5.
Alright.
So, I'm sorry that I kind of trailed off at the end of that episode there, but I'm looking at your notes, and I'm very confused. Why do you have notes for what appears to be an episode of Hey Arnold here? You have very detailed notes for an episode of Hey Arnold here. Why?
I don't really have a good answer. I went to do notes for the next episode of the Andy Griffith Show, and it just kind of got away from me, I think is the way to really put this. So we don't have notes for the next episode of the Andy Griffith Show. We do have notes for the tree episode of Hey Arnold, and so, I mean, we can do with that what we will. I tried to watch I tried to watch Aunt Pete Wedding Bells again, and I just couldn't. I couldn't fucking do it, man. I gave it my all.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Dan, I don't know what to do about this.
I mean, I guess we just kind of proceed normally.
So here we go with an absolutely garbage episode of television.
Yeah, nope. An all-time piece of shit.
Okay, so it's the episode is called Wedding Bells for Aunt B. It's season 2, episode 26. It originally airs April 2nd, 1962. Written by Harvey Bullock and directed by This Cannot Be. It was not me you saw that night with Esmeralda. It was my twin brother, Bob Sweeney.
He keeps hinting that he used to work for the CIA and everyone's just refusing to engage. Bob Sweeney.
And here's your one-sentence summary from Wikipedia. Andy and Aunt B both think that the other is anxious for her to marry the town dry cleaner, Fred Goss. Remember how excited we got about Fred Goss a few episodes ago?
New character!
We were so hype about Fred Goss. We thought that guy ruled.
He was like a curmudgeonly, dry cleaner who's always fucking smoking.
And yeah, we thought this guy kicks ass, but now they gave us an entire episode dedicated to the Goss man, and he sucks.
I get really annoyed with guest characters and what the Andy Griffith Show deal with it, because this is the 4th dude where he pops up and it's alright, so what's this guy's deal? What makes him funny? And Andy Griffith Show is he sucks.
Yeah.
He sucks shit, man. It's is he dumb? Nah, he's not really that dumb. He's smart enough. Is he a dick? No, he's not a dick. He's just kind of
he's just sort of boring.
He's just kind of not that fun to be around, and he's just kind of bad at everything he does.
And he's not super entertaining or interesting in any way. So let's spend 25 minutes with this motherfucker.
You know, a person that you don't want to be in a room with, and it's not really due to any major personality quirk. He's just kind of that.
He's just kind of unlikable.
Yeah,
he's just an unlikable dude.
Yeah.
So you're trapped with him for the next 25 minutes.
Yeah, eventually this show is going to figure out that dumb people are funny and lose its fucking mind. It's because all their characters are they can't be dumb. They just have to be weird, just weird and and scatterbrained and annoying.
So here's the we don't have any notes for this because what we do have notes for are the Treehouse episode of Hey Arnold.
The Treehouse, the Mighty Pete episode of Hey Arnold. Yes.
Okay.
It's a classic episode of television. Again, I am very sorry.
So I guess this episode starts with Gerald saying that the treehouse is great. Sid has fixed the treehouse sink.
The the tree has indoor plumbing.
Yeah.
Like, they built indoor plumbing in a tree.
And the tree's name is Mighty Pete. They've named the tree.
Yeah.
So every kid loves this tree, Mighty Pete, and they're like, this tree's always going to be standing. Okay, so smash cut, of course, to Helga's dad, Big Bob Pataki, going, that tree is going down. Meanwhile, in Mayberry. Yeah. So Aunt Bee and Clara and Otis are all at the cleaners, and they're picking stuff up. And Otis is trying to pick up a suit, and he can't get the suit because Fred Goss won't shut his damn yapper.
Yeah.
He keeps talking and talking, and he's putting cigarette ashes all over Otis's newly cleaned suit.
Yeah. Also, introduction of sober Otis.
Right. Yeah. Right. So far, Otis has managed to stay sober after the prison labor that we saw.
Yeah.
And Fred Goss, who is he's just a gossipy man. He likes to talk shit about people, and he's just he's asking if Andy's taking anyone to the big dance. They have dances a lot in this town.
I mean, what else? What the fuck else is there?
Yeah, there's nothing else to do. And Aunt Bee's like, no, I don't think he's taking anyone. In fact, he may not even go. And Fred Goss is like, oh, I'd like to go to the dance myself if I had a special lady to go with.
Yeah.
Wink, wink, wink. I guess.
I'm horny.
Yeah, it's basically just Fred Goss is just like, Fred Goss, down to fuck. All right, DTF. Meanwhile, Otis is like, can I please have my suit?
You're driving me to drink. For the love of God, I'm hanging on by a thread here. I'm around you people, and this is why I'm an addict.
Yeah, and so Fred Goss is like, oh yeah, well, your suit, whoa, this thing's got to be cleaned. Otis, I just had it cleaned. Yeah. Why is there not another... Everybody in this town is so bad at their job.
Why do we have only monopolies in this town, and why are they all populated by the people that are the worst at the thing they're supposed to be doing? At least the moonshiners have competition. At least the moonshiners are driven to lower their prices and improve their product quality. We just have a barrage of doddering old men providing basic amenities. Fuck!
So we go to the jail where Opie is looking for stuff to do. So they mentioned that Barney Fife is not around. Barney's not in this episode. He's off doing something. And oh my god, dude. Oh my god, did they pave paradise and put up a parking lot on that one. Motherfucker, we did not know what we had.
All the No Barney episodes are dog shit. And I hate that character so much, but there's nothing.
This show needs Barney Fife.
Because this show needs any character capable of mistakes or jokes. Because, it's just, Andy can't, season 2, Andy's not allowed to do fucking jokes anymore because he can't make mistakes. So, it's literally just Aunt Bee having mild misunderstandings and feeling terrible about them.
It's just so awful.
It's a fucking miserable slog. So
what are we gonna do when Barney leaves the show?
I mean, by then there's going to be, I think there's gonna be the Pyle brothers.
Yeah, there's gonna be other stuff
and,
around.
Weird
sure.
mountain men.
Sure.
When Barney Fife leaves the show, I'm going to do a backflip because I'll never have to hear Don Knotts' voice again.
I don't know what this show's gonna be after that. And by this show, I mean A, our podcast, and B, the Andy Griffith Show.
Then we'll we'll rebrand as a Father Knows Best podcast.
God.
Yeah.
Opie comes in and he's like, can I be the deputy? Is there anyone who needs arresting? And Andy's like, you can clean out the trash. You can help me out. They do more bits about the tooth.
Yeah.
Right? Where'd that tooth go? And he's like, oh, well, I was sheriffing and I was catching some robbers and they shot my teeth out. Whatever. Cute people. Goes on forever.
They're just it's incredible that they were just Ron Howard, small child, vamp, improv little boy. We didn't write a full episode here. Don Knotts has food poisoning or something, so you need to be the Don Knotts for the episode. And Ron Howard's just robber shot my teeth out? He's terrified. What else happened?
So Helga's dad wants to bulldoze the tree to put up a new beeper emporium.
Yeah, no, so Helga's dad wants to bulldoze the tree to put up a... Wait, no, fuck it, Andy Griffith. Right.
So, the next thing I remember happening is that, they're back at Andy's house, and Clara is just being a fucking dick.
Okay, so Clara is such a dog shit friend in this episode. Like, it's the only time I, like, paid attention to this episode, really, because, like, I reared back and was like, that is bonkers level overstepping socially. Like, yeah.
So what the conversation they have basically is that Andy is giving Aunt B shit. He's teasing her because he heard that Fred Goss has a crush on her.
Yeah.
He heard this from Otis, who came to the jail for some reason. I don't know. Andy's got a pretty funny line where he's like, hey, Otis, like, I know it's Friday, but you're pretty early.
Yeah. And Otis is like, hey, I'm going to start drinking again soon. Like, he's like, I'm sober right now, but I won't be later. This episode has been my breaking point. I'm off the wagon.
I tried, man, but I have to deal with this bullshit.
Yeah. I made it through 10 seconds of the worst episode.
But he comes in just to start. He's like, hey, I wanted to, like, tease you about your Aunt B, like, Fred Goss having a crush on Aunt B, and Andy takes that home, and he teases her, and then he leaves, and then in the kitchen, Clara's like, maybe you should go out with Fred Goss.
Yeah.
And Aunt B's like, why? I hate that guy. He sucks.
Yeah.
And then Clara's line of thinking is, okay, look, you should go out and maybe get married or meet somebody, because right now, Opie needs a mother.
Yeah.
And Andy is putting his own dating life on hold because there's some real circuitous logic here, right?
So it's basically no woman is going to want to marry Andy because there's no room in the house because you live in the house.
Yes.
And Andy needs a wife and Opie needs a mom, so you need to get married so you can move out.
So that Andy can date.
Yeah. Bug fuck logic.
It's completely bullshit.
We're going to take apart in a second, but first and foremost, imagine if I said anything of this level of invasiveness to you.
Right.
Of, like, you're keeping your friend unhappy, and therefore you need to do something of the caliber of getting married.
Yeah, you need to settle and change your entire life because your very existence, your presence in this house is making your family miserable.
Yeah, you are an inconvenience to your loved ones, and therefore you need to do something. You need to completely overhaul your entire life. Like, you would throw me out a window.
This is also the same woman who, like, intentionally sabotages some pickle bullshit.
Yeah, she's a monster.
She's horrible.
Yeah, this is a monstrous action. But okay, so all logic aside, what?
Yeah, what the fuck?
Fuck are you talking about?
What are you saying?
It's a house. It has multiple rooms. I'm assuming that you guys aren't, like, all sharing a bed like it's like Charlie and the Chocolate Factory. Yeah, like, there's multiple bedrooms. It's a large house from what we've seen. And also, Andy had a girlfriend for the entirety of season 1.
It's already happened.
Yeah.
Oh.
And also, he brought her here to raise the child.
Right. Opie has a mother figure. It's Aunt B.
Yeah.
That's her entire reason for being on the show.
Yeah.
We all saw episode 1.
Which, it's insane. It's an insane thing to say. Like,
none of this makes sense.
And instead of yelling all of this at top volume as she should have, like, the episode should have ground to a halt. It should have just be like, I'm gonna go point for point and explain why you're a fucking asshole who's full of shit. This remainder of the remaining 12 minutes.
And let's also be clear here. The real reason why Aunt B doesn't want to get married is you can't fucking tie Aunt B down.
Oh my god.
Aunt B's not built for monogamy.
Aunt B's got a harem running throughout the entire greater county. Like, man, she's got, like, door-to-door salesmen on a schedule.
Yeah.
Yeah, Aunt B's crushing it. Clara's jealous. Clara's jealous of how much Aunt B is crushing it.
I guess Aunt B decides to take this advice or something like that. Yeah. And next scene I remember, like,
Arnold tells his grandparents that the tree is getting torn down, and Grandpa, like, does a whole thing about, like, in my day, we built the indoor plumbing in that tree, and I actually proposed to my wife there. Anyway, that's cool. When's it going down? And Grandma's like, we're gonna burn the streets. Like, we're going to go, like, triple Antifa on this motherfucker. We need you there because they can't really throw the book at you legally. We're going to throw acid in cops' faces. This city will burn for this tree. It rules. I forgot how kick-ass the grandma in Hey Arnold.
Dude, Arnold's grandma rules.
Yeah, it kicks ass. It kicks absolute ass.
So, okay, the next scene I remember is that Andy has invited Fred Goss over for dinner. Well, there was a bit with more Chinese food, right? Andy was gonna take Opie out for Chinese food. They were gonna go to Mount Pilot, and then Aunt B comes in and is like, were you doing anything for dinner? I was thinking maybe I'd have Mr. Goss over. And Andy's like, really?
Yeah.
What? Oh, okay, yeah.
Seriously, I was making fun of you for this, indicating it was stupid, but
okay.
I guess you're going...
Okay, well, I guess if you're happy, if that's what you want to do. And Opie's like, but Chinese food!
Yeah!
And Andy's like, we'll have Chinese food another time. We gotta apparently have this guy at our house now, I guess.
We have to suffer through a terrible evening together as a family?
And so we get to the dinner, and Andy makes like a little joke about, hey, did you hear the one about the man who mixed cleaning fluid with his gravy? That way, if he spilled it on his tie, it would take care of itself. It's not a funny joke.
No, it's just breaking the tension because
it's a very awkward moment. And then Fred Goss does not laugh about that at all.
Yeah.
He's like, don't you dare. You should never, ever mix those two items.
Don't you put that...
You could kill a man, Andy. You could kill a man, Andrew. Do you understand the severity of what you're talking about? And so
I'll have the Dry Cleaners Association after you for slander. I swear to God.
And so those are like the two like main points about Fred Goss. Is number one, he takes his job way too seriously and he doesn't know how to talk about anything other than
dry cleaning, the most boring subject in the world.
And the other thing is he uses his like information. He uses like what he gathers from doing cleaning to talk shit and gossip about people.
Yeah.
Like, he mentions that, like, he found brown hairs on the shoulder of one man's jacket, but that guy's wife is blonde. He mentions that men are cheating on their wives a lot, or want to cheat on their wives. At one point, he talks about, like, one guy having a picture in his wallet that's not of his wife. It's of Myrna Loy, which is a batshit reference for me to make, because Myrna Loy was a popular actress in the 30s and 40s.
Mm-hmm.
Like, her last real big film role was in the 1950s. Like, it was Cheaper by the Dozen in 1950. That reference would have been super dated in 1962. So, again, what the fuck year is that?
It's probably an old dude who's just like,
Maybe.
I still tug it to the same woman.
The same woman who's not my wife.
You know, that's probably how you did it back then, is like, you picked the person that you masturbate to, and then you're locked in. You're like...
It's like how geese mate for life.
I've been jacking it to Eva Gabor since I was a 20-year-old, and god damn it am I sticking to it.
Second Eva Gabor reference of the episode.
Yeah.
Good work, Gus. Welcome to the Eva Gabor cast.
Gavin for Gabor.
Nice. So that's like, and this dude just goes on and on about how difficult stains are, and like how he hates clothes with rhinestone buttons.
This could all be a fucking montage. You could blow past this. Like, it's
it's so fucking tiring.
When you do a joke about how boring a thing is, you fast forward.
Yeah.
You go through, and then you just have a character go like, boring after, and we get it. You don't have to actually.
You've got a small child there.
Yeah, like, it's incredible. It's an incredible decision as like a TV show to be like, let's bore the piss out of our audience. They'll love that.
Andy and Aunt B kind of go in the other room, leaving Opie to fucking suffer, I guess.
Yeah.
He's now lecturing Opie about grass stains.
It's so dumb.
And Andy's just like, so you sure you are you happy about this? Whatever. And this is the misunderstanding, right? Like,
yeah.
Aunt Bee is still convinced that like she has to go through with this. She has to date this guy and then marry this guy. By the way, they go straight to like talking about marriage for like instantaneously. Fred does not actually propose to her.
No.
We should clarify this. Like, at no point in time does Fred say that he wants to marry her. Also, I just remembered Aunt Bee's had boyfriends.
Multiple!
Like I know that we make the joke about how Aunt Bee fucks everyone, but like in canon, she has dated men. We have watched her go on dates.
Andy threatened to shoot one in the face.
What the fuck is this? We know what this looks like.
Yeah. It's just a shitty version of like 3 different episodes. It's just... I genuinely don't remember how any more of the episode goes.
I know that there's like a big heart-to-heart on the porch. I know we get so much more Fred Goss.
I can't believe this character sucks, man. This character should rule. Like a curmudgeonly... Like... Alright, a guy that uses dry cleaning to do detective work to prove that people are cheating on their wives? I should love that character.
Yeah.
That should be my favorite character. He uses dry cleaning to reveal secrets. And he's a dirtbag. He should be the best, and they just found a way against all odds to make him suck shit. God.
According to the ultra-reliable Mayberry Wiki, this was Frances Bavier's favorite episode, and fucking how. You know why? Because it's the only episode where she got to do anything.
Yeah, it's the only Aunt Bee episode, and it sucks. We make fun with Aunt Bee. Aunt Bee is not a good character.
I wish she was, because Frances Bavier is a good actress, and
yeah,
this show just does not care much for women in general.
Yeah, no, I mean, it's not like she's a bad character, but she's just like, I'm here, I clean, I want to give you sandwiches, I'm Aunt Bee, I gossip a little bit. She's done like 3 cool things in the entire show, and every time we've lost our fucking minds. Like, that one time she was like successfully manipulative, I almost flipped a table.
I always talk about how much it annoys me when there are setups that on TV shows that can be just avoided with a 5-minute conversation. Turns out when you show that 5-minute conversation, it's still fucking boring.
Yeah. Because a 5-minute conversation should have happened right after the misunderstanding. Because, like, Aunt Bee should have just gone like, hey, Andy, do you want me to get married? And he'd be like, nah. And she'd be like, cool, Clara's a bitch.
Yeah, there's a moment where Opie like starts asking Andy about marriage and starts asking about relationships. It's the closest we ever come to Andy mentioning Opie's dead mom.
Yeah.
That's I guess that feels like it should be more noteworthy.
It should be a thing, right?
But it's completely glossed over. Andy has a line kind of like, well, someone wants to marry you. The polite thing to do is marry him right back.
Yeah.
It should be specified again. Fred Goss has shown no interest in marriage. Fred Goss isn't really even interested in dating Aunt Bee. He was just like, oh, I guess I'll come over for dinner, sure.
Yeah.
I don't even think he was flirting with Aunt Bee in the very first scene.
No.
I think he was just like, give me more information. Come on, I want to hear some more shit.
Yeah.
Like, I'm going to go to that dance because I want to talk shit about people.
Yeah. No, I don't think he doesn't particularly seem to like anybody or really be interested in anything other than dry cleaning and gossip.
And that's basically it, right? Like, after just some agonizing scenes of this, Aunt Bee and Andy talk it out. And then the final scene is Aunt Bee's like, well, I'm going to need someone to help me break up with this guy. And Andy goes, leave that to me. And they drive up to the dry cleaners the next day. He comes in and he's like, hey, you should really see that dress that Aunt Bee's gonna wear to the dance. The way you're looking at me is like
it's like I'm hearing this for the first time.
I'm telling you this for the first time.
I watched this episode and I could not tell. Like,
yeah, Andy comes in and he says, "Hey, you got to see this dress that Aunt Bee's wearing to the dance. It's got so many buttons and there's 37 rhinestones that." He just mentions this like intricate dress and how hard it's going to be to fucking clean, essentially. Fred Goss takes this very personally. He said that women with too many rhinestones should be run out of town.
It's insane.
And Clara's there, and Clara's like, oh, well, my dress is just going to be plain cotton. And Fred Goss is like, cotton, you say? Just plain, simple cotton? How many buttons? She's like, no buttons at all. And Fred Goss is like, well, I'm down to fuck.
Yeah, I'm rock hard right now. Come into the back. His cigarette just kind of like raises in his mouth a couple degrees.
Yep. And Andy's like, well, too bad you already bought the tickets for that thing. I guess you could take someone else. And his friend is like, hey, Clara, you want to go? Okay, tell Aunt B I'm sorry. Bye.
Monstrous.
She was ready to marry this man.
Like 2 seconds ago. And Clara knew that. And Clara's just like, Clara's gotta get it in. Fuck it.
Horrible fucking shitty people. How does the Hey Arnold episode end?
So it ends with all the kids coming to peace with the fact that Mighty Pete is going to be killed. And they go up into the treehouse for one last game of cards. Little do they know, Big Bob Bataki, him and the weird guy with the unibrow, they're rolling up with the bulldozer because they're trying to bulldoze it at midnight so that no one will interfere. They start to knock it down. They realize the kids are up there. Bob's like, okay, we gotta stop. Weird unibrow guy is like, we're gonna kill some fucking kids.
Let's murder some children.
I'm escalating. Nameless unibrow guy is escalating this. Bob wrestles him off of the bulldozer. Not a great strategy on his part because now, runaway bulldozer. The kids try to stop it by throwing everything in the treehouse at it. At one point, Arnold's like, if I can just hit the lever with this coffee mug, it'll stop it. Misses wildly. Helga makes fun of him. Great joke. And then Arnold's grandma swings in dressed as Tarzan and steals a bulldozer and just drives it down a city street. And it's great. And it just steals a bulldozer. She's the best character.
She rules.
Arnold's grandma is Antifa. She kicks ass. She definitely just drove that into a police station and just ran up and like, pigs! You fucking pigs! Attica!
And so the punchline of the episode is that Bob apologizes to his kids and says, to Helga, and he says he's not going to knock down the tree.
Yeah.
But he is going to build a store in that lot that you play baseball in.
Yeah.
That's
and they're like, oh no. Aren't you glad I did this now? Because,
it's so much better.
It's a palate cleanser. Just talking about Hey Arnold for 3 seconds is so much better than talking about this episode of television.
So, ratings for, I guess, the Aunt B episode, it's dog shit. It sucks. I can't even give it a single Andy.
It's a picture of an unflushed turd that's been there for a while, and no one's really gotten around to dealing with it.
So my Andy rating meter is it's a cinnamon roll that kind of looks like Andy Griffith.
Yeah,
that's what I'm giving it.
Yeah,
and FIFA meter. I mean, there's nothing disgusting that people brought with them. It's
too pointless to have
It's nothing. It's fuck all.
It doesn't get. You know what? It doesn't even get on the scale. It's not even it doesn't get to be on the XY axis of Andy to Barney. It's I throw this episode off a cliff into lava. This episode never happened and never existed.
Before we give up on this entirely, folks, I want to give a shout out to Apple podcast user TrollSeek for giving us a new 5-star review.
Woo!
It describes us as funny and weird as H******. I don't know if that's an iTunes thing. If I find this as funny as I do without even watching the episode they're discussing, I should probably start watching the shows. No,
dude, stop! Don't do it.
We do not recommend that, TrollSeek.
Remember in season 1 when we had a conversation about whether or not we liked the Andy Griffith Show, and we were like, I mean, I like it and I don't like it. Sometimes it's good, sometimes it's bad. I fucking hate this show. I hate this piece of shit idiot show.
Yeah, TrollSeek, we're watching this so you don't have to.
Yeah. Unless we explicitly tell you to watch the episode, don't watch the episode.
Yeah, we'll tell you when there are episodes to watch. Last episodes, the last podcast before this had episodes to watch.
Yeah.
I hope they move on to another series after they've trudged through Andy Griffith.
We got some plans.
We might. Yeah, we've got some plans. We got some stuff in the works.
Yeah.
The wide breadth of political, cultural knowledge the hosts draw from in their commentary is ignited by genuine anxiety, LOL.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Accurate.
The darkest shadows are cast on each scene. That rules.
Giving us such gravitas and power.
That's an awesome.
I don't think anyone's ever said I cast a shadow, even literally.
I've seen you in the sun. Like, it's very weird.
Yeah.
You got like a Peter Pan thing going on.
It's like my shadow, like no matter where I am in, is always like small and squiggly and like trying its best but not really manifesting.
It's kind of like how Peter Pan's shadow like sometimes runs away from him, except like your shadow just like is off smoking a cigarette.
Yeah.
Like, fuck you. I will be like reflected of you when I feel like it.
Yeah.
Like your shadow has no respect for you as a man.
No, my shadow is trying its best, but always like a couple degrees off. Like it's always just like I'm sorry. Do I be here? I didn't realize we were going. I'm sorry. Get some good Dan's shadow bits. Good job us closing out strong.
So that's it, folks. We're sorry we trudged you through this one. Not as sorry as we are for watching this fucking thing.
Yeah.
So, that's it for this episode. Hopefully the next thing you hear from us will be from our live show, talking about TV dads.
Yeah. Dads throughout history.
So thank you to the Philadelphia Podcast Festival, for hosting us. That pretty much wraps everything up. You know all the drill. Support us on Patreon, patreon.com/BreakingMayberry. If you want us on Twitter, we're at BreakMayberry on Twitter. I'm at Schneid Remarks.
I'm at the Luds.
And you all know that's got the 2 Ds.
Yeah.
Max Ludwig did the music that you've heard at the beginning. You're about to hear Appalachian Coal Mines by the band Ask Again. So that's about it. We'll see you all, as usual, down at the fishing hole.
Y'all come back.